What's going on, duelists? It's your boy Nick, bringing you today on the channel a update to my insect pile deck, or as I like to call it, bug link deck for the post Supreme Darkness format. For those of you new to the channel, welcome. My name is Nick. We do Yu-Gi-Oh content mainly focused around rogue and casual decks alike. If that's the kind of Yu-Gi-Oh that you're interested in, then I highly encourage you to subscribe to the channel. We are closer than we've ever been to our 2,000 subscriber benchmark. I believe at time of recording, we're like maybe 20 to 15 or so subscribers away from that 2K mark. So if you can subscribe to the video, like it as well, and help me reach my goal of 2K subs, it would absolutely mean the world to me. Obviously it's a new year, new format, new decks, new set releases. I am super excited to continue bringing you duelists amazing and fresh new content, as well as bringing back some old favorites. I have a lot of stuff in store for the channel. I do want to apologize. I've been a bit of a hiatus recently. The holidays came and went. There was just a lot of stuff going on, and there's just a lot of different things happening at my job right now, so that's also been kind of eating into a lot of my free time. But I didn't want to go any longer without uploading at least something. Obviously, at time of recording, Supreme Darkness sneak peek is this coming weekend. I will do my best to try to head out to one of my OTS stores and pick up a box of product. There's quite a few things I'm looking for from that set that I would like to flesh out certain decks that I'm going to be bringing back to the channel. But in the meantime, like I said, I just want to give you guys an update to my bug link deck post Supreme Darkness. There's a lot of things in this deck that I feel I've optimized for the better, and I know a couple of you duelists have asked me in some of my older bug videos for updates, so I just wanted to bring you guys a very brief update. I'm not going to dive too in depth with a lot of the cards, because obviously I have countless different combo and test hand videos and other profiles of this deck. This is mainly just to kind of show you guys more or less what I'm playing post Supreme Darkness for Bug specifically. And I like the fact that this deck is also extremely budget. I believe everything main, extra, and side included, you can grab everything in here, at least in the lowest rarity, for under $100, if I'm not mistaken, on TCG Player. So that's obviously really cool. But with all that out of the way, again, I'm back, duelists, and like I said, like, subscribe, and we're going to be diving in head first with the main deck. This is a 60 card bug pile. I'm still under the notion that that is the best way to play insects, in my opinion. Yes, there are other variants that are like 40 card and whatnot, but I just don't believe that those decks have as many ways to push as a 60 card does. Now, you do sacrifice just a wee bit of consistency in a 60 card, but because you're playing so many different engines, that I feel like you always have access to some kind of a starter and or extender to get your plays rolling. And with this deck being very link focused and spammy, it's not difficult at all to kind of get the ball rolling. So we're playing 3 of the best starter slash extender. Wrap here the Onslaught, brand new Battlewasp support, very amazing card out of the most previous recent core set, Rage of the Abyss. Then we're also playing the best starter, which is triple copies of Sting the Poison. Again, really amazing. He's a starter slash extender. Sting is strictly just the starter, in my opinion. Obviously, very powerful cards in their own right, and you definitely want to be maxing out on playsets of both of those. Up next, we have our extenders for the Battlewasp theme. 1 pin, 1 twin bow, 1 arbalest. I wouldn't play any more than these. I see so many different bug lists play duplicates of some of these cards, and I just don't think it's necessary. Each of their effects are hard ones per turns, and because of how searchable they are, you're pretty much all but guaranteed to get access to them in any one of your combos. So I just feel like running duplicates doesn't make sense. You'd rather cut down on these and have more space for other stuff. So that's my own opinion, though. Some of you might think otherwise, but that is obviously okay. That wraps up the Battlewasp package of the deck as far as the monster lineup's concerned. Up next is the Beetrooper package, of which we're playing the newly added playset of Beetrooper Scale Bomber. We previously were not running this card, and to be fair, that's kind of on me. I just didn't see the value of this card until it was kind of just too late. I started playtesting with this right after Christmas time, and I was actually floored at how amazing this card actually is. Not only is it just a free extender, helps you chain block some of your effects, it's like a Ghost Ogre on legs as well while it's on the field. It's just overall a really good card. Definitely want to max out on a playset of that. Giving the deck even more push, more ways to extend is always better. Then we're on 2 copies of Scout Buggy, 1 copy of Assault Roller, followed by 1 Sting Lancer and 1 Mighty Neptune to round out our Beetrooper monster lineup in the deck. I wouldn't recommend playing any more than 1-ofs for these, and the Mighty Neptune arguably you could cut. Obviously, I side this out post game one. Almost every time. There's no need to play it, especially if you're going second. Same thing with Sting Lancer. These are just here as like combo pieces. You have like extender, starter, and then extender, and then you have to, like, I wouldn't consider these extenders. I mean, they can be depending on the scenario, but 1 and 1 is perfect for the ratio. And this wraps up the Beetrooper part of the deck as far as the monster lineup is concerned. I wouldn't change anything about any of these ratios. Like I said, I've been testing the deck for a while, and it's worked out really, really well for me. Up next is our third package we play in this deck, which is a Ragnaraika package. Now, I've seen a lot of bug lists don't play this package, or they play a very condensed version of it, only running like 1 Wicked Butterfly and 1 Samurai Beetle. I just don't feel like that's correct, honestly. I mean, granted, if you're trying to like cut down and play the deck closer to 40, then I could see, you know, reasoning for like wanting to cut out this package or cut down on it at the very least. But again, because this is a 60 card deck, you have the space for this kind of stuff. And I just feel like the Ragnaraika package is so powerful that I couldn't see myself cutting it. This card not only doubles as an amazing starter, but also an extender in his own right. And it just gives the deck that much more push. I mean, Evil Seed by himself is literally a 1-card combo, which is obviously very strong. And it's a very small package as far as the monsters are concerned. You just play 3 Seed, 1 Butterfly, and 1 Beetle. And like I said, that's pretty much the ratio that works best. I'm sure other bug duelists will attest to that. Then we play our fourth and final like engine of the deck, and that is a Krawler package, which consists of 3 Krawler Soma, 1 Spine, 1 Axon. The flip effect Krawlers are interchangeable. You don't have to play these. You could play like Dendrite and other stuff, but in the grand scheme, it doesn't really matter. You just need like some number of flip effect Krawlers in the deck. I'm just choosing to go with Spine or Axon. But Soma is, I feel like it's kind of divisive in the community because I've seen a lot of different bug lists not play it, and I can understand why, but this card is just a ridiculously powerful extender. Like, if you like normal summon your starter and it gets like hand trapped, you can follow through with Soma, like flipping that card down, bringing out the Soma. Soma extends into 2 additional bodies, so it's an extender by himself that brings out 2 more cards. So it's like a +3 in card advantage. It's just really crazy. It just helps you to pop off and push through disruption really well. So I rather do like this package. You can also search the Krawler Soma with Resonance Insect, which we're also playing. A bit of a spoiler, but this wraps up the main 4 cores or engines of the deck, I would say. It's Battlewasp, Beetrooper, Ragnaraika, and Krawler that are comprised. You know, you kind of just run the best of each archetype, and you basically get what I like to call bug link. Up next is more just like generic bug good stuff, but non-archetypal. So we have a playset of Resonance Insect. I'm still choosing to play 3 of this card. It's just crazy. While not a starter by itself, at least until we get a Link 1. If this deck gets a Link 1, I am over the moon excited. I literally hope that one day Konami gives us a generic Insect Link 1, because that would make Resonance very strong, obviously. But while not a starter by itself, it is an amazing combo piece in the deck. And since it's not once per turn, you can abuse it as many times as you can. So I still choose to max out on this. It's also really good discard for stuff like Rapier and or the Evil Seed effects to summon themselves, which I think is really strong. So max out on that. You still play the 1 Gokapole. 1's all you need. You don't need to play any more than that. It's just a really strong card for the deck. Then we have 1 copy of Praying Mantis as far as our it's like just another combo piece / extender. But a great one of nonetheless. Moving on, we do play 1 Supply Soldier of the Indestructible Insects, 1 Scary Moth, followed by 1 Beargrim. All of you duelists who enjoy Simo's Master Duel Masochist series should be very familiar with this card. But just one-ofs of all these again. You can side out of some number of these depending on if you're going first or second. Obviously, if you're going second, side out of this. You don't need it. If you're going second, you might want to keep the Beargrim in. Obviously, it's just an amazing main deck boss and great board breaker. And then Supply Soldier is just another new TCG exclusive from the previous core set, Raid to the Abyss. Helps you fusion summon in the sort. All very strong cards in their own right. Now moving on to some of the just strictly non-engine of the deck. We are on a playset of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, followed by a playset of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, and then we also round that out with a just 2 copies of Retaliating Sea. We do side the third but I just don't feel like there's a lot of decks right now that Retaliating Sea stops. It's more so like a pseudo engine piece for you, but it can also double as a hand trap depending on the matchup, which is why we do still side the third. But this is the hand trap lineup. Again, I'm well aware that it's not that much non-engine. You could tweak the deck slightly if you wanted to accommodate more non-engine. You know, you can cut out maybe one of the engines, for example, maybe the Krawler package you decide to cut and shoehorn more hand traps in the list. But I just don't feel like we're in a format right now that requires you to like play excess amount of non-engine. Plus, I think the deck has so many ways to push that through just engine alone, you should be able to establish and push through most boards. Like for example, the last time I took this deck to a local tournament, I played into a Fiendsmith Kashtira board, and I played through 7 different pieces of disruption, and I was still cooking, just with all the extension that I had access to. It was really crazy. So like, I just don't feel like the deck needs to play that many pieces of non-engine. But if you do want to do that, again, you could consider cutting out some of the engine of the deck to accommodate more non-engine space. But I think these are just the best cards right now. 3 Ash, 3 Bell. And then, like I said, just the 2 Retaliating Sea. You side out of this if it's not relevant to the matchup, obviously, in place of other more relevant stuff. Now, moving on to the spells, we do play 3 copies of Ragnaraika Bloom. Again, just kind of completing the Ragnaraika package. This card is basically just 3 more copies of Evil Seed, so increasing consistency. Also gives your monsters a very good stat boost, which I think is great. We're also on 3 copies of Armed Rebellion. Again, another TCG exclusive support. Actually, I don't even think it was TCG exclusive. I think it was just part of the Battlewasp support we got in Rage. Overall, a really great card. Think of it like an emergency teleport, but for bugs. Definitely want to max out on that. Then we are on 2 copies of the Battlewasp Wind. I have fought with myself repeatedly, considering cutting this down to 1, but I just can't bring myself to do that. I always feel like as a 1-of in the deck, you're going to draw it. And if you do, it kills the whole Rapier line, so it just doesn't feel right. So 2 Battlewasp Wind, I feel is good, but it can be a bit of a brick at times, especially if you draw it in hands that don't have any access to the Battlewasp cards. It's a little unfortunate. Then we just play 1 Beetrooper formation, 1 Beetrooper landing, and 1 Called by the Grave to round out the remaining spells in the deck. Again, you can side out of these going second. You really don't need them, in my honest opinion, and it allows you to give you more space for non-engine. And then moving into the traps, we're on 3 Imperm. So again, it's Ash, Bell, and Imperm, plus the Retaliatings as our non-engine. And then we're on 1 copy of Hunting Dance, 1 Wisteria of Woe, and 1 Flying Sting. Again, very amazing archetypal traps for their respective archetypes. The Ragnaraika traps are so strong, especially Wisteria, just giving you like the deck indefinite grind game pretty much. And then Beetrooper Flying Sting is obviously very nice. The only thing I wish is that it also stops spells and traps, but I guess you can't have it all, right? So that rounds out the 60 card main deck. We're gonna quickly dive headfirst into the extra deck, of which a couple things have changed. Starting off with 1 copy of Beetrooper Cruel Saturnus, and 1 copy of Heavy Cavalry of the Indestructible Insects. The only 2 fusions we are playing in this list. We are no longer playing the Perfectly Ultimate Insect, mainly for several factors. A, it's still kind of a pain in the ass to summon, in my opinion. Yes, there are ways to help you get it out easier, but it's still a chore. Like, you're deviating from your main combo lines to set up a fusion that, in the grand scheme, most matchups this format don't really care about. Like, you know, it's Ryziel doesn't care about Ultimate Insect effect. You know, they have Ryziel Cross, which can just negate it anyway. But also, you know, if you try to nuke their board, they just have Detonator to detach and protect everything. So, like, you're not really getting anywhere against that matchup. Again, Malice, while they do have a field spell, I don't believe they really care about a board wipe. Chances are they're going to clear the Ultimate Insect before they go to battle phase anyway, most of the time. So I just decided to cut it in favor of some other stuff, which we'll talk about shortly. But just wanted to preface that very quickly. For our synchros, we're still on the 1 Sachi, 1 Diablantis, and the 1 Grand Partisan. Still, the main boss for this deck is Partisan. Very amazing card. Can't express how incredibly powerful it is with its effect when banished. Being able to revive itself and destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of banished insects is just insane. And burning them as well for each card destroyed is just huge. Then we still play the 1 Cicada King, and that rounds out the non-Link extra deck cards. The rest of the extra deck is comprised of strictly Link monsters, of which we are playing the newly added Shinobi Insect, Haga Kuramino. This is effectively taking the place of the Perfectly Ultimate Insect. Well, that sounds kind of crazy because this isn't like another boss monster replacement. I just feel like this is still the only generic Link 2 insect we have that doesn't require specifically insects to use as material. Because like we're also playing Pico Felina and Armorhorn, but these two cards require 2 insects as material, whereas Hagakuramino just requires 2 monsters with different names. This can effectively help us play through Nib. Again, the deck doesn't have an answer for Nibiru, unfortunately, but given how many crazy pushes this deck has, your opponent's usually going to nib you in the wrong spot, and you can usually capitalize on that because you'll have so many more extenders and ways to push past that. And this just helps even further because you can actually link the nib token off with this, putting insects back on the field, which you need for some of your other effects, which is important. And then for the last Link 2 is just 1 copy of the Ragnaraika Skeletal Soldier. Again, very powerful card there. And then to round out the remaining 5 cards of the extra deck is 1 Seraphim Papillion. Might as well just put these here. 1 Mantis Monk, 1 Selene Snapper. We decided to play this in favor of the Traptrix Adipus. Yes, this is a reptile, and I'm aware that some of your combos will lock you out of this, but I just feel like the spell trap removal is invaluable, especially for a deck such as this. And it's still very easy to make in the deck. You're not always going to be strictly just insect locked. So this card's still pretty good. And then we're obviously on the 1 Atlas, followed by the 1 Stag Sovereign to round out our 15 card extra deck. And then real quickly before we wrap things up, we're going to dive into the side deck here. Again, nothing too crazy to report. Just, you know, side deck's always going to be up to personal preference, obviously. Base your side deck based on what your locals looks like around your area. But I'm choosing to play a playset of Droll and Lockbird. I've seen Droll kind of come up in Resurgence recently, but I don't think it's main deck worthy. There's still a lot of decks that don't care about this card. So I don't think main decking it is warranted. But in the side, for sure, this is a card you should be running in any deck you play. We're on the 3rd Retaliating Sea. 1 Black Sea Squatter. This is a new addition to the sideboard. Strictly for when we're going 2nd, we can actually side into this. I know, it's crazy. When you're going 2nd, you side into a vanilla. But it's mainly for the Gokupol play, where if we can get Gokupol to grave, which trust me, there's tons of ways to do that, Gokupol can search us this, and then this can special itself and pop a monster on the field through Gokupol's effect, which is obviously really strong. Helps with board breaking. We're on the 1 Kumungus. 1 Kaiju is all you need. You can search it off Resonance, which is obviously really good, and also recycle it with cards like Pico Felina. So there's no need to play duplicates there. And then for the rest of the stuff is just generic non-engine good stuff. 3 Book of Eclipse, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, and then 3 Solemn Judgment for when we're going first to help give this deck a little bit of resiliency to board breakers, which is really the only thing it kind of falls to. You know, something like an evenly matched it would like generally cook us or other bug decks for that matter, but something like Judgment could help us be able to push through that, which is nice. But that's going to wrap up my Bug Link deck update post Supreme Darkness. For if you guys are still watching this and you're not subscribed, subscribe. We're working our way to 2K subs. I definitely need your help to get there. Like the video as well. Comment down below what you think. And like I said, stay tuned for more amazing goodness coming your way in the new year. Post Supreme Darkness, I will have some new decks to bring to the channel. So just kind of bear with me. Like I said, I'm kind of trying to juggle life and work and other things. But your boy's still here cooking. And with that being said, this is Nick hitting that end phase. Peace.